Sacred Gold is an advanced difficulty version of Pokémon Heart Gold, made by the father of Pokémon ROM hacks, Dr. Ayano, that features stat buffs, type changes, and gives the player an overall more comprehensive gameplay experience. But Flygon, haven't you beat this game before? Great question. Technically, no, that was Storm Silver, which is functionally no different. But this time, I won't be allowed to use a damage calculator for anything at all. So instead of building foolproof plans turn by turn like a mad Nuzlocking scientist, I'll be slinging half-baked tummy ache-inducing strategies through to the very end. My run starts in New Bark Town, where I meet an old man and the three Petsies locked into a machine for what I can only assume are less than ethical experiments. With his permission, I snag Cyndaquil and name him Kyler Murray, minus attack nature and not one single attack IV to his name. He's perfect. After leaving our hometown, we have a great second pickup in Barkley the Eevee, though her adamant nature makes half of her potential evolutions significantly worse. But that's okay, we'll figure it out later. Our first real encounter comes on the route just outside of New Bark Town, where I hope to snag a Sentret that can evolve into Furret and rock the elemental punches heading into the first gym. And thankfully, we do get a Sentret. He's just a little deformed, and his name is wrong, and he doesn't learn the elemental punches or have really any redeeming qualities. But Nakua does help me catch this Geodude, and by help, I mean he gets crit and gets swapped out in favor of literally anyone else. Kind of an insult to Puka to name a Pidgey after him. Anyways, we can catch Geodude and name him Brock Purdy. Get it? Like Brock the gym leader, but also it's a football theme and Brock Purdy is a quarterback. And get this, Purdy has 74 career touchdowns, identical to Geodude's national dex number. Pretty crazy, right? I mean, I made that up, but pretty crazy, right? Next, we catch Magikarp, who I name Mahomes, and get a gift Charmander, who I name Alan. And inside this Pokemon Center, I receive a Slugma egg, which will hatch later in a spot that there's no alternative encounters. Now, before taking on the first gym, I have a couple more encounters to grab. My first run in here is with a Xatu, who I unfortunately cannot catch. Why, you might ask? Well, have I mentioned that this playthrough is part of the Drayano Gauntlet, a challenge created by pChal where you complete Calcless Nuzlocks of FireRed Omega, Sacred Gold, Renegade Platinum, and Blaze Black 2 Redux back to back to back to back. If you bring a Pokemon to the Hall of Fame in one game, it cannot be used in any subsequent game. And if you wipe in one, you reset all the way back to FireRed Omega. Good thing I never wipe. I'm a terrible dinner guest. As for why Xatu is banned, well, if you watched my playthrough of FireRed Omega, you'll know that Nepal the Xatu is a Kanto regional champion, and so all of Nepal's descendants are ineligible from here on out. By the way, if you want to see me continue with this Drayano Gauntlet, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hype the video, send me your severed thumb in the mail. It really all does help me gauge what type of content you guys want to see. Anyways, instead of a Xatu, I secure a Budu named Dupree. In various routes around Violet City, I also recruit Amon-Ra St. Brown the Bellsprout, Mike Edwards the Zubat, and Jordan Love the Metatite. Following that last capture, I find myself scaling the treacherous Sprout Tower. It's dark, dusty, and full of old people. At the very top, I meet Elder Lee, whose team stinks, but critically, after I defeat him, he gifts me my choice of an Evolution Stone. Wow, what a great present. And speaking of presents, you want to know what the perfect present is? A miniature horse that poops solid gold? What? No. Knowledge. Knowledge is the perfect gift for anyone and everyone. I think I'd rather have the miniature horse that poops solid gold. Of course you would. You have no idea what it takes to raise a miniature horse. But for everyone else, there's the sponsor of this video, Boot.dev. Boot.dev is an online educational platform that uses modern game design and hands-on lessons to teach you how to become a master programmer. Each lesson is created to maintain your focus and interest on the topic at hand. Boot.dev knows that bored learners quit and smart learners never get bored. Fun examples, game-based mechanics like quests and achievements, and professional high-quality video lessons make Boot.dev the coolest teaching platform I've used. It's not particularly close, and that's why I've continued to partner with them time and time again. I really do believe that if you want to learn how to code, Boot.dev is a great resource for you to use. Plus, all of Boot.dev's content is completely free to read and watch in guest mode, and you can even demo the interactive experiences so that you can know for sure that boot.dev is right for you before you spend a single cent. They even offer a 30-day no questions asked refund policy. So what are you waiting for? Head to boot.dev to learn more and use my code FlygonHG to get 25% off your entire first year by choosing the annual plan. Thanks so much to boot.dev for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the challenge. Now, without a Furret to blast through Falkner's flying types, I'm gonna need a little extra help. So despite Sweet Barkley's adamant nature, my best bet is to evolve her into either a Jolteon or a Glaceon. And after a long debate between the two, I make my decision. Glaceon. Falkner's team is tough, but the good news is that most of these Pokemon are pretty frail and a little underleveled compared to the level cap of 15 set by his Pidgeotto. I lead with Purdy, whose Rock Throw almost does what I needed to do. A second Rock Throw Smokestow duo, and Murkrow takes his place because Falkner sees that the bird has a super effective Ice-type move in Haze. Brilliant. Rock Throw bludgeons Murkrow within an inch of his life, so surely Tackle, so as to avoid a Rock Throw miss, will now knock him out, right? Shit, that was stupid of me. Well, as you can see, the lack of damage calcs are being felt early on. A second tackle finishes Murkrow, and that brings in the Solar Beaming Power Herb Swablu. Good job, Falkner. This one makes sense, insofar as a Solar Beaming Power Herb Swablu can make sense. Pivoting to Dupree on the one-turn Solar Beam, we absorb the hit, and then walk Purdy back in on an Aerial Ace. This allows him to freely stand in front of Swablu as he absorbs Sunlight and rip a quick Rock Throw for solid damage. As a second Solar Beam is now imminent, I switch to Nakua to brunt the hit, and then he finishes off Swablu, so Falkner sends in Chatot. Oh, Uproar is clutch. Oh my god, Nakua! Wait, that was so much damage. Holy f. Well, I gotta get Nakua out of there, so I asked the newly evolved Barkley to help out, whose Icy Wind frags the mouthy parrot in one shot. Farfetch'd is out next, so do you think Icy Wind one-shots this guy? Well, we would be able to find out if Barkley wasn't blind. I mean, I let him take another stab at it, gracefully tanking a second Aerial Ace, as Icy Wind does in fact blizzard the bird. Oh, and the big scary beast at the end? Rotisserie. Frozen rotisserie, I guess. We kill him in one shot is what I'm trying to imply. That's one badge down and 7 to go. With Violet City's gym now nothing but a distant fuzzy memory, we can continue on our quest. I head south, beating a bunch of bad guys in Azalea's Slowpoke well, and encountering a host of new friends, including Metcalf the Bronzor, Hopkins the Hoppip, and Cousins the Slowpoke. So gym number 2 is now all that stands between us and access to Goldenrod City. Bugsy's team is probably one of the scariest in the game. Still, with Barkley, Mahomes, and Purdy, I feel like we have a shot, barring a season-ending ACL injury. I lead with Barkley against Butterfree, which prompts Bugsy to immediately swap her out with an unexpected U-turn. I'm pretty happy about the speed drop and some chip on Heracross, but my excitement is quickly erased when I switch to Nakua, just to have his Citrus Berry chomped up from a bug bite. Nearly back to full HP, I gust the Heracross while she dances for some showers, and then a Pluck does finish her off and bring in Yanma. I'm sure a physical Pluck one-shots this frail speedster, so all I have to do is tank a quick Ancient Power. This is gonna hurt. Oh no. Well, jam a fist up my bum and call me Mitt, cause we're Romney boosting tonight, folks. Pluck absolutely would have one shot, but now we're in trouble. Hoping to see another Ancient Power, I switch to Purdy. A special Air Cutter gives me a heart attack, but Purdy holds steady and prepares to deliver the final blow as Yanma swaps out into Pinsir. And Rock Throw squeaks off the horn bug like a rubber ducky. Unfortunately, with the baffling lack of damage, I'm forced to switch Mahomes in for an Intimidate. Vital Throw does very little, and then the Bite Flinch next turn brings our foe a little closer to her grave. One final switch into our starter Murray lands the Flame Wheel KO, and then Butterfree shows herself once more. I try to get Barkley some revenge for Butterfree ducking out earlier, but the sick bastard crits my pup with an Air Cutter and U-turns back out as Barkley rips an Icy Wind. I do like that Yanma gets thrown to the wolves here here and just dies, but Butterfree is now back and Barkley's HP is quickly dropping. I don't love the air cutter damage that Butterfree gets here, but our Icy Wind does connect and brings our foe to the brink of death. Bite probably should be enough to get us over the hump, but Bugsy's heal means that Bite does just a scratch, so we need to connect with another Icy Wind. And sure enough, Barkley does successfully blast Butterfree with another 95% accurate move, shivering the insect into the dirt. Only 2 Pokemon remain on Bugsy's team, and the next one he wants us to see is Beedrill. In Sacred Gold, Cut is a Grass-type move that Edwards the Zubat quad resists. In fact, Beedrill's Sludge Bombs don't do much either, so I feel confident in ripping a Hypnosis in an effort to set up a proper counter for Bugsy's Ace Scyther patiently waiting in the back. I switched to Nakua and even managed to settle in with a quick Roost. From there, Quick Attack is enough to win the showdown, and we've officially cornered Bugsy's ace. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. What's a little bug gonna do? All right, let's pluck. Yep, you Swords Dance. That's horrifying, but we at least get to eat your berry. That did no f***ing damage. Excellent. Okay, well, what do I do now? I mean, surely Nakua takes a hit here, right? Or not. I gotta be so honest with you guys, I've literally never cared less about a Pokemon dying. It's a Pidgeotto. But suddenly, I don't feel like Scyther is the one that's cornered. Mahomes comes out to get off an Intimidate, dropping Scyther's attack to just +1. Even so, Wing Attack hurts, but a Citrus Berry heal means that we'll likely survive another. Bite then does so little, but I do have a play. Remember that age-old rule, always, always, always play around the critical hit? Well, hand me a Phillips head because screw that. Oh! Let's go, Mahomes! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yo! Well, that's what I call an easy, flawless victory. The next stop on our whirlwind adventure through Johto is the bright lights and bustling streets of Goldenrod City, where the map starts to really open up and give us some real tools for our Nuzlocking journey. So please welcome to the team Joe Burrow the Slugma, Drake May the Togepi, Alt the Gulpin, Aaron Rodgers the Spiritomb, Christian McCaffrey the Wurmple, Jamar Chase the Glameow, Patrick Queen the Nidorina, and Thomas Adukoya the Sunkern. This ragtag team of goats is sure to help against the third gym leader Whitney. Lickitung opens for Whitney, who I counter with Rock Smashes from Mahomes. After just 2 hits, Whitney heals and forces me to strike with another 2 Rock Smashes to seal the deal. Clefable comes out next and absolutely wants to Charge Beam, or maybe Reflect. Either way, switching into Purdy here is my best play every time. From there, I switch to St. Brown for a Sleep Powder and to slowly but surely whittle down the monster to nothing. Death by 1,000 cuts, literally. Lopunny comes in next, and for the rest of the battle, every time she does, I can just send in Rogers. Since she can't touch us at all, she has to swap out, which gives me free damage on whoever takes her place. So take that, Wigglytuff. Now the Rotom Puffball uses an Ice Beam here, which does nothing to Barkley the Glaceon. So she promptly demonstrates how to properly use an Ice Beam, not just once, but twice for an easy kill. Again, Lopunny comes in, but Jump Kick proves incredibly counterproductive on another switch to Rogers. Panicking, Whitney switches in Miltank, the last Pokemon on her roster that can actually do damage to my collective of 108 seemingly mostly female spirits. I decide to pivot immediately into Purdy. Now, Body Slam does paralyze here, but a berry heals the status and Purdy braces for another attack. Except Miltank doesn't attack, but rather uses an attract. Fortunately, Purdy's a stronger man than I and cuts through the powerful infatuation of Whitney's Miltank to fire off a Rock Smash that gets the magnificent defense drop. Truly a phenomenal play by one of our strongest team members. Mental toughness prevails. I swap Mahomes in to get an Intimidate drop before sending out Metcalf to start doing more damage. Barely. It's like if I took a slice of cheddar cheese and just threw it at her. Trying to set up for a final knockout punch here, I swap back to Purdy and tee up for a Rock Smash. Sure, we get paralyzed, and attracted, and fully paralyzed, but after a second attempt, Purdy successfully hits through and leaves the living beef patty at like 1 HP. Well, back into Mahomes and then to Metcalf, who can't be fooled by a track due to their agender superiority. Metcalf strikes down the cow with one last limp flash cannon, so from here, the battle is won. Lopunny instantly jumps through Rogers to her death, and then Stantler also has no ability to touch Rogers, though I eventually do just switch to Barkley to speed things up. GG's, Whitney, you were far easier than I ever could have hoped, so thank you. The next target on our hit list is Morty, whose ghost types will be a bit of a challenge. On the way to Ecrotech City, I recruit 2 new allies in Chase Brown the Growlithe and Cam Ward the Zigzagoon. And remember when I said that Morty's ghost types would be a bit of a challenge? Good, because that was 3 seconds ago. But also, I was exaggerating because Morty's team is easily the most underwhelming challenge in the entire game. I don't know what Dre was cooking, he doesn't know what he was cooking, but whatever it was, it's raw as hell. That's a fucking shuppet, man. What are we doing here? Sableye is this fight's first real challenge, with the same typing as Rogers and only a single weakness in the form of fairy types, which I don't have a ton of access to, because fairy types aren't in the game at all. Anyways, with a cannon like Barkley, there's not a whole lot that the Diamond-Eyed Demon can do. Against Misdreavus, I decide that it's time for the Queen to make her debut. She immediately dodges an oncoming Will-O-Wisp and then Shadow Claws to deal 50% of Misdreavus's HP. A retaliatory stab Shadow Ball hurts, but it isn't enough to stop us from clearing the spirit with a second Shadow Claw. Haunter is barely a passing thought here, so all of a sudden, it's only Morty's Ace who stands guard between us and a deathless 4th gym badge. So naturally, with no way to confidently one-shot the beast, I choose to go for the safest non-calc route possible. I stall out every single one of his moves by pivoting to a normal type on Shadow Ball, a ground type on Thunderbolt, a bulky flying type on Giga Drain, and I don't really care how many Hypnosises he lands because those aren't doing any damage anyways. Once Gengar's out of moves entirely, I can pretty quickly wrap up the fight and snag my 4th gym badge. We are officially on a roll. Our journey to the 5th gym leader in Cyanwood City sees me adding Cousins the Doduo, Dobbins the Ponyta, Prescott the Staryu, Waddle the Chinchou, Darnold the Wingull, and this special gift Pikachu, who you might think I forgot to nickname, but is actually named after the Jacksonville Jaguars special teams player Devontae Pikachu. I'm actually not kidding, look it up. Here I can also pick up a choice band, which will be invaluable for my future Calcless endeavors. The 5th badge in this game belongs to Chuck, and boy am I ready to take him down. He opens with a Primeape who I eviscerate with a banded wing attack from Edwards. Honestly, I did think that we'd do a little more damage to Poliwrath on the next turn, and even more to my surprise is that Chuck opts to rip an Ice Punch when he has access to Hypnosis, a move that the AI generally loves to spam. Weird, but that's fine because I switch into Lantern expecting to see another Ice Punch, though I'm of course immediately put to sleep by a Hypnosis. Wild. I mean, I did bring a Berry, but a second Hypnosis cancels that out. Well, from here, surely Poliwrath will use a physical fighting move on the next turn as I switch into McCaffrey the Dustox, right?
Nope.
Well, at least we know he'll probably use Hypnosis since he doesn't see the kill. Man, I don't know which death is worse, Nakua or McCaffrey. And by worse, I mean more meaningless. These Pokemon were both uniquely awful. Also, maybe I realized this a turn too late, but I could have definitely just switched Prescott in here, basically for free. In fact, it only takes a couple Thunderbolts to blast through Poliwrath once we get going. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, I can't believe I missed that play, but I also don't care. McCaffrey was not good, and I don't like the 49ers. The Drayano Gauntlet definitely forces a utilitarian approach to Nuzlocking, so I can't be bothered to shed a tear over a dead bug. Rest assured though, viewer, the tears will come later on. Against Chuck's Breloom, Cousins can switch in on a Spore and take the one-shot with an Aerial Ace. And now that we finally have some momentum on our side, I follow this up with another super effective hit on Hitmonlee.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Well, from here, Edwards pops off, wing attacking over and over and over and over until the battle is finally over. Give me that damn badge, Chuck. You can keep my dead chicken, or whatever Dodrio is. One of the best parts of Sacred Gold is the added content. Specifically, the Team Rocket storyline is significantly expanded, featuring a series of multi-battles with some Sinnohan transplants that culminates with a final showdown in Johto's Safari Zone. And these fights aren't the hardest things in the world, but nothing exactly comes easy either. Sometimes the margins in these fights are just so close.
Do we think love survives a Night Slash? Okay, do we think that Bullet Punch kills? It does not.
Okay, I'll admit that one is a bit of a bummer. Depending on the game, Medicham can be quite good, and suddenly I'm at 4 deaths. That's not nothing. And losing 2 Pokemon to a freaking Chuck of all people is also not that great for the old self-confidence. As we continue to slice through Team Rocket members like evil but still perfectly cooked fish fillets, there are a few more encounters to replace the Fallen, including Okonkwo the Kingler and Nelson the Spheal. Further into this side mission, there's a fight against Ariana, who's mainly scary thanks to her Jynx. In Sacred Gold, she gets a special attack buff, which you can see in full force as a resisted blizzard does massive damage to Barkley. That is nasty damage output. Thankfully, now baiting Psychic, I get a free switch to Rogers, who should be able to take the KO here with a priority Sucker Punch. The issue is that Sucker Punch will fail if Jynx doesn't use an attacking move, and that's exactly what happens twice in a row as Jynx goes for Lovely Kiss. Not a huge problem though, since I have a Lumberry to shrug off the one that hits, and since Ariana seems obsessed with trying to put me to sleep, I decide to switch to Shadow Sneak.
Oh, you f***er, really?
Read like a book. All of a sudden, this game became way harder. Our most pivotal Pokemon, my only Ghost type and my only Dark type, is now sitting 6 feet under. Rogers was incredible for neutralizing powerful threats. Without any immunity to Psychic, Normal, or Fighting type moves, we're now gonna struggle over these next few splits. The good news is that the rest of Ariana's team is easy enough, and we're able to push through. The bad news is that our Rocket Gauntlet Nightmare has one last stop in a huge multi-battle throwdown against Archer. And as usual, no Calcs means that I don't have a real plan. Scyther and Zangoose lead for our opponents, and candidly, this isn't the most outwardly threatening duo at this stage in the game. At least not to my team, because what do you mean Zangoose gets a guaranteed one-shot on Riley's Absol? And what do you mean our double kick doesn't get the KO at -1 defense? And what do you mean that Riley's answer to this problem is to send in an Ursaring who also just dies? That means that as Zangoose finally falls, Riley is already down to his last Pokemon, and not for nothing, but the random Rocket Grunt Scyther has set up a double team, though that is a problem for later, since I'll be targeting down Archer's Pokemon first. Waddle's able to quickly drop his Gyarados, so we're starting to gain a little bit of momentum here, but then everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Riley's Lucario falls, meaning that it's now a 2v1 for the rest of the fight. And how does that go, you may ask?
Okay, that's why we have the Citrus Berry. Alright, just don't get crit here. Why do I even...
Marvelous. Lantern is another high-utility Pokemon that often makes other bulky water types completely trivial. And with Waddle's death, I now have more deaths than badges, which never feels good. Fortunately, Edwards can come in and play Garbage Man, taking out the trash that is Houndoom and Scyther. Kyler then shows his ugly mug for the first time in quite a while, using a flamethrower to KO Mawile before Edwards comes back in and gets the final KO on Granbull. What a brutal, brutal last few fights this has been. But at least we can get a new encounter, so Palomalu the Tangela, I'm glad to have ya. I need you to do all the things that Lantern and Spiritomb were supposed to do. Good luck. With that, the final fight of this split is the 6th gym leader Jasmine, and as awesome as some of her Pokemon are, Alan's flamethrowers knock out each and every one of them one by one. Bye, Jasmine. The trek to Mahogany Town is quite a long one, and during our travels, we snag Justin Herbert the Merrill, Matt Stafford the Flaffy, Bo Nix the BP Pony, Baker Mayfield the Feebas, and Azure Kamara the Lucario. Now, there are also some pretty major plot points that take place in this split. Slaying the red Gyarados, smashing through Rocket Hideout, and saving a bunch of Electrodes, but the only difficult challenge is the showdown against the 7th gym leader Pryce. A Choice Specs Aurasphere from Kamara is my answer to Abomasnow, which I'm super grateful is enough to do the trick. And since it's enough for a KO on the Beastly Snowman, it should also be enough for the frailer Mamoswine and the now part Rock-type Glalie. But can we take down Dugong?
Shit. Oh no! No! Is it a roll? Let's get the roll. There's a roll!
From here, I switch Nelson in on Lapras' random move and get trapped in by Whirlpool. So a battle of the bulky water-ice types commences with neither able to make real dents to their foe's HP. It takes a while, but through a bucket of body slams and respectable RNG, Nelson 1v1s the Lapras and frees himself from the Whirlpool trap. So only Frostlass now guards Pryce's dignity, though the poor old man would be better off with a Civ because Metcalf can switch in and do massive damage with Gyro Ball. After a heal and a few more hits, Frostlass has just a little bit of HP left. So attempting to find the safest route to victory that doesn't risk a crit, I pivot to Nelson on Blizzards and Queen on Thunderbolts. Once Frostlass is out of Blizzard PP, all Queen has to do is break out a flamethrower to finish the job. That's 2 back-to-back Deathless gym badges, so I'm feeling great. Storming our way over to Goldenrod City, the bad guys have put up one final front to take over the world. Or whatever Team Rocket is up to, I don't. It's a bit of a boss rush in Goldenrod, with showdowns against Petrol, Proton, and Ariana all coming before maybe the most difficult challenge in the entire game. Back-to-back fights against Archer and then Giovanni. This is effectively a 6v12. The ultimate run-ender, and without a calculator, one wrong assumption could send me straight back to the start of the Drayano Gauntlet. Archer opens first with Zangoose. Remember him? I send out Kamara, who's equipped with a Choice Scarf to ensure that we can outspeed and slam our foe with a close combat that I'm assuming cleanly gets the KO. Against the Machamp that comes in second, I switch to Cousins. Yes, I'm now aware that Cousins is also the name of my dearly departed Dodrio, but it's fine. We'll just say they're cousins. There's quite a long back and forth here between Machamp and Cousins, but the plan is simple. Yawn the Machamp to sleep, heal with Slack Off, chip him with damage when you can, and eventually swap to Alan for the KO. This intentionally baits out Archer's Gyarados, who I can set up against with Mahomes like there's no tomorrow. By using Dragon Dance and responding to our foe's bounce with Protect, I'm able to bring Mahomes to +3 attack, which allows him to plow through Gyarados with Rock-type Strength and Drapion with Aqua Tail. Houndoom would normally also go down to a single hit, but a Focus Sash gives Archer the chance to deal massive damage with Sunny Day. After a heal, another Strength takes Houndoom down from full HP, so only Scizor remains. Does our Strength fail to KO and allow Scizor to set up a Swords Dance? Yes, but who cares? Mahomes drops the bug with a second Strength. Turns out that Gyarados is a pretty good Pokemon. My team's battered, my moves are depleted, and I know Giovanni is gonna be tough. But I'm as ready as I'll ever be, and the fight begins without a pause. I hesitate on the opening turn for a moment against his lead Persian, because I know that Rhyperior is coming in next, and I would love to chain kills with Aurasphere, you know, assuming that the move is actually capable of taking them both out. But because I don't know that for a fact, I can't justify the risk of losing Lucario, so instead I lock myself into close combat. Which means that I've obviously got to switch, as Rhyperior does indeed come in second. Mahomes gets off an Intimidate, letting him easily shrug off a resisted Hammer Arm. And it's at this exact moment when I learned that my team was healed between these fights. Neat. That certainly makes things easier, but here, not wanting to risk a 90% accurate Aqua Tail, I decide to switch to Cousins, who now hopefully outspeeds and gets the KO, right?
Yeah. I fucked up. Oh, Cousins is dead.
Look, I know that Slowbro literally has slow in her name, but that Rhyperior was at -1 speed from Hammer Arm, so I really don't think that was as stupid as it looks. Unfortunately, now my best bet is to risk a miss with Aqua Tail anyways, and at the very least, Mahomes does connect. Sorry about your assassination, cousins. That one's on me. Tauros is our next opponent, and it's clear that I have a good answer in the form of Kamara, but I'm not 100% sure that close combat kills, and I'm starting to panic. Since Stone Edge misses Kamara the first time I switch in, it gives me the opportunity to switch back to Mahomes for an Intimidate drop, and then once more back to Kamara on a second Stone Edge, which maybe means that I'll survive an Earthquake if things go wrong. I don't actually know, but it gives me the security to fire off a close combat that crits for the clean KO. And before you roll your eyes at how overly cautious this was, let the record show that we were actually very close to this being a damage roll. Giovanni's fourth Pokemon is Nidoking, who has great coverage, but by pivoting through Mahomes, I make my way into Nyx on a Thunderbolt, who dodges the paralysis and frags the purple beast with a single Psychic. Kangaskhan replaces Giovanni's Fallen King and threatens big damage with Double Edge, so I get Metcalf in to eat the hit and bait out Earthquake, which makes the pivot to Mahomes entirely inconsequential. I run this pivot path once more to get off a second Intimidate, and finally land on Kamara to clean up with a blistering close combat. So just one Pokemon now stands between us and the endgame. Mahomes switches in on Earth Power, and after getting Toxic Poisoned, he lands an Aqua Tail. I mean, not on the first one he doesn't. No, he misses that one, but the second one is good to go. Uninterested in rolling the dice on a second Aqua Tail and anticipating a heal, I just switch to Nyx, who once again utilizes a single powerful Psychic to deliver the final blow of the fight. You gotta love buffs to underappreciated Pokemon. Thanks, Dre. And RIP Cousins the Slowbro. I'll never forget ya. Probably. Maybe. Let's set the odds at 40%. With Team Rocket's plans foiled, the next stop is Blackthorn City and all of the routes and caves you have to clear through to get there. In the process, we pick up Booty the Poliwag, Kincaid the Snover, and Stroud the Camerupt. So just like that, on pure vibes alone, we've made it to the final gym of Sacred Gold. Claire's team is tough though. A bunch of overpowered dragons in a game where my best ice options are a Snover without Snow Warning and Barkley the Glaceon. Claire opens with Dragonair, and the good news is that Barkley can shred the armless legless noodle with a single Ice Beam. The less than good news? Even with a Choice Scarf, Salamence outspeeds me here, and as a Fire Blast connects, I know that Barkley's fate is sealed.
No! Never worried. Literally never worried.
Okay, so is Altaria gonna be faster?
Surely no. I guess the question is whether we kill, but surely we kill. Yeah, okay. Great. This should go Gyarados, would be my guess. All right, I mean. No! I didn't see that! No, Barkley!
Man, that one really sucks. Barkley was literally our second teammate ever, and now she's gone, all because I was too stupid to look up Dragonair's moveset. I mean, the silver lining is that I was never bringing Barkley to the Elite Four, what with a guaranteed Eevee encounter waiting for me in Twin Leaf Town, but it still sucks to see my sweet baby girl fall. Kincaid's able to avenge her, so Gyarados comes in as Claire's penultimate Pokemon. I switch to Nyx, which is completely riskless, and then fire off a nasty Thunderbolt for the clean KO. So last is the deadly Kingdra. I send in Mahomes, and the Deep Sea Sniper Demon rips a Dragon Pulse. A second one puts us in super dead range, with a strength doing so little damage that it's actually kind of embarrassing. Through Metcalf, I bring Nelson in on a Swagger, the Lumberry saving us from a confusion. A second one, though, then does confuse Nelson, but she manages to plant an Encore the next turn anyways. So now all we need is a little bit of chip damage and a little bit of luck.
No. We obviously hit this one. We obviously hit this one. Okay. Okay, that's the Lumberry. YOLO! Send it, Kincaid! Let's go! Oh!
Flawless victory.
Yeah, it could have been a wipe.
But it wasn't. Flawless victory perfectly planned. Gold. And with all 8 gym badges in hand, our final destination is the Indigo Plateau, though there are a few more stops along the way. First up, Scatterboo the Shelgon, welcome to the team. In the Drayano Gauntlet version of Sacred Gold, the normal gift Dratini from the Elder in the Dragon's Den is instead a randomized pseudo-legendary. Anyways, next up, I throttle all 7 of the Kimono Girls and their evolutions before meeting them at the top of Bell Tower to sing and dance with Ho-Oh. Next, I add 2 of the Shelder, as well as Spillane the Quagsire, Adams the Sandslash, Bosa the Arbok, and Darnold the Donphan. Yes, like with our double cousins, we also have 2 Darnolds. Let's hope they fare a bit better. Now, there is a final rival fight here, but I won't bore you with what was an absolute ravaging of the world's worst Pokemon trainer. No. Instead, it's time for the Elite Four. And who are we bringing? Great question. Since we're smack dab in the middle of the Drayano Gauntlet, it's important to consider which Pokemon will be both useful in this Elite Four and okay to miss out on in the remaining 2 games of the Gauntlet, whether that be because the Pokemon are not very good or they're simply so rare that I probably won't get one anyways. Oh, also Kanto and Trainer Red aren't a part of the Drayano Gauntlet, so this is our final stop. Regardless, the Drayano Gauntlet restrictions means that some of the run's heaviest hitters are going to be sitting this one out. And instead, I've assembled an unconventional team. Scatterboo the Salamence will be making his debut alongside Ward the Linoon, Tua the Cloyster, Darnold the Donphan, Alt the Swallet, and Nyx the Giraffarage. As a matter of fact, I think the only Pokemon on this team that I've ever used in any other battle is Beep Beep Pony. Wait, no, actually, Alt did come to a few fights against Rocket admins, I think. But regardless, I'm appointing Beep Beep Pony the leader of the team. And hilariously, she opens up the Elite Four challenge by sweeping Will's entire team with nasty plot boosted Shadow Balls. She doesn't even take a drop of damage. But don't worry, Koga's where the real challenge begins. And though a well-written voiceover is always good, nothing beats the emotions of a live reaction.
This is Bug Psychic type. I'm assuming this kills. Let's see it. Good. Okay. So they should go Muck, because Muxie's a super effective move with Rock Slide. Voice Crack. All right, now the issue is that this could sub here. It does. It's not the end of the world, I don't think. Yeah, because now it's going to Focus Punch. But as long as this doesn't... I don't think this, even with a crit, a Focus Punch kills me. I don't think this has the juice to do anything else. And we just one-shot. Good job, Darnold. That's that Choice Scarf utility. Tentacruel. So we're not going to be faster here, I don't believe. Could be Waterfall, could be Swords Dance, which is a little scary. Yeah, I could have just stayed in. But here's hoping that we kill this in one shot. Good. Okay, Choice Band. Salamence, who would have thought? Wheezing. So we go to Altman here. Toxic. We gonna be faster? Okay, it goes Thunder. So I think this is still fine. Oh, Psychic here. Good job, Nyx. So now the question is this sucker punching or is this cross chopping? Protect once. Yeah, so you're sucker punching. As long as there's no funky AI, I might actually be able to just do the... Oh, shit. Yeah, now it's going cross chop. Don't do it, 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 don't do it. I think I made it just f***ed up. I just f***ed up so hard. Oh, that was really lucky, dude. That was stupid. We go Scatterboo. Oh my god, and it went Poison Jab, you bastard. Okay, now we Earthquake here. That kills. But that makes this Crobat a little scary. Because it could double team. But I want to go Tag. Lock in, Tag. Come on, Tua. Come on. Come on, Tua. Come on, Tua. Come on, Tua. Lock in, Tua. Good job, Tua. Does this one shot? Respects. Oh my god. He clutched up. Woo! I can't believe I just relied on Tua for anything.
With Koga defeated, it's time for the third member of the Elite Four, Bruno. And remember that first fight where Beep Beep Pony annihilated Will's entire team? Well, we're gonna do it again. I mean, I do technically use Alt to encore the opening Hitmontop into Fake Out, but then I send in Beep Beep Pony, and the rest is herstory. So now there's just one Elite Four member remaining, and while her team is pretty solid, a weak lead is her downfall. Alt can yawn the Mighty Anna and stall out the turn needed to ensure a safe switch to Ward. So from there, I set up a belly drum and sweep. Boom! Let's go! All of a sudden, we've made it to the final fight of the game. But losing here wouldn't mean just losing Sacred Gold. I'd also have to go all the way back to FireRed Omega. Simply put, this fight against Lance has to go our way. So let's do it.
All right, Gyarados leads. Nyx rips a Thunderbolt. Boom! All right, so this should go Aerodactyl. Let's see what he does. Probably just Stone Edge, and he is faster. If this doesn't crit... Oh, okay, Nyx, you lived, buddy. You lived. I'm proud of you. What are the odds we kill here? It's Sassy, Respects. We killed Aerodactyl. How much bulkier is Charizard? Aerodactyl is 80-75. Charizard is 78-85. Oh, she probably doesn't have it. It's okay. Believe. 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 Come on, Beep Beep. Come on, Beep Beep. Go! Go, 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 go. No! 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 She was so close. All right. Now it's just the actual dragons. God, if I miss a Draco Meteor, am I in a lot of trouble here? Okay, we'll go Altman. This should bring out Garchomp. No, I guess it doesn't. Ah, shit. Come on, Altman. Oh my god, he lived it like a boss. Yawn. Okay, okay. So we Draco Meteor this. That one shot. Surely that one shots. Okay, okay. Okay. I can't believe oh my god, I can't believe Beep Beep died. Okay, this is outrage. This can't crit, or this can't crit because we're shell armor. So we should live this because we're a cloister, right? I mean, absolutely. Yeah, that did way. Okay, now we're scarfed. Ice Beam, this is... You're still slower? You can't do anything. Somebody do the calcs on this. Is this like 0 speed cloister? All right, I'm not risking Salamence, so here we go. We'll go Darnold. We're Choice Band, Ice Shard. This should be a 2-shot. Ooh, even with Citrus Berry? Ooh, close. Hurt yourself in confusion, you more... Good job, Darnold. Proud of you, Darnold. Last is the Garchomp. All right, Darnold, I think this is where I leave you, buddy. Say hi to Nyx and give the middle finger to Tua, because that was ridiculous. See you, Darnold. Unless you crit. You want to crit. If you crit this, you probably just... Yeah. Does this kill? Oh, surely. Yeah. All right, now we don't have to risk a miss. All we gotta do is clickety-clack the Dragon Claw. GG's. GG's, Lance. GG's.
With that, we've defeated not just Lance, but all of Sacred Gold, and my very first attempt of the Drayano Gauntlet continues. 6 new Pokemon in the Hall of Fame, and 6 more Pokemon banned from the remaining 2 games. Next stop, Renegade Platinum. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Or don't, I don't know, but stay tuned for more Drayano Gauntlet content, and until then, remember to always play around the critical hit. I am such a hypocrite.